Hey guys, Drifter here. Today I've got an old school Call of Duty gameplay commentary for you where I talk about what's going wrong with Call of Duty, because if you haven't noticed, the player base has declined roughly 50% over the last 30 days, and that shows no sign of slowing down. I'm pulling these numbers from Steam charts, which to be fair doesn't show console numbers, but it does show trends, and the Call of Duty HQ is also all Call of Duty games, Black Ops 6 multiplayer all the way back to MW 2019 and Warzone, so the player base for all Call of Duty games for the last 5 years has dropped 50% in the last 30 days, and now Black Ops 6 is performing considerably worse than Modern Warfare 2 and similar to Modern Warfare 3, but trending worse. It's actually bleeding over into content as well. I've noticed that Teamfight Tactics of all games is outperforming Black Ops 6 multiplayer on Twitch pretty regularly. I've also generally noticed a decline in views on COD content across the board, unless of course it's hate content, which I'll talk quite a lot about later in this video, and we'll get into the reasons why, but the reality is a huge number of Call of Duty players have left for other games. There's just an exodus of players, mostly over to Marvel Rivals, which is what I've been playing quite a lot. And it's not like Delta Force is bad either, or Valorant, or any of these other legacy games like Siege. There's a lot of good choices out there, and COD players are quitting. So let's jump into why. I guess this is my Call of Duty is dying, the cycle is breaking, the January doom and gloom that is normal for this cycle of a game. But Warzone itself is in shambles. Swag was talking about quitting Warzone, debatably the #1 Warzone streamer, entertainer, competitor, whatever you want to call him, doesn't want to play the game anymore. The update that came out this fall to add Area 99 was extremely unpopular. It brought back a whole bunch of old bugs from up to 18 months ago that have somewhat been fixed, but then they created new bugs. And even though I enjoyed Area 99 to some degree, I don't think the new map was received particularly well by the community. I haven't heard a lot of people really enjoying it in the long run. And I know that there's other issues like cheating and weapon balance and hackers and, how we balance the competitive and the score and all that. But the real take home here is that the Warzone community is in shambles, and the Warzone community has been holding COD down for the last 5 years while regular multiplayer crumbled. And if Swag is talking about quitting his #1 bread and butter money making game to play something else, it's gotta be bad. Speaking of famous people quitting, Nadeshot seemingly quit Call of Duty. He posted a video talking about why Call of Duty was forcing him to quit, and ever since then I've only seen Nadeshot stream Marvel Rivals. God bless him, he swapped from controller to mouse and keyboard and went all the way up to, I think, Master or Grandmaster, which is very impressive. Guess that makes sense for like I don't know how many times COD champion. But Nadeshot quit because he was upset that Call of Duty has extremely poor network performance, and he believes that Activision is too cheap to upgrade to higher tick rate servers or really do anything about it. Both him and Swag agree that the technical problems are what's holding Black Ops 6 back, and I would have to agree with that because Exclusive Ace and I have basically made a career exploring Call of Duty's technical problems over the last decade or so. So I know that there's plenty of them. There's issues with skill matching, regular matching, friends this, there's visibility issues, graphical bugs, there's hacking bugs. The servers are a total nightmare between the disconnect between the kill cam and what happened, people teleporting, shooting you around corners, weird lag and stuff. It, from a technical level, is very, very messy. The community at large seems unhappy with Black Ops 6 events and the Squid Game crossover. I thought people would be really hyped for the Squid Game crossover when Season 2 came out, but I've pretty much seen only negativity on social media. Maybe that's the people I'm following, maybe that's my bias, but I'm seeing more negativity than positivity, which was kind of surprising. And most people are very negative about the community events either. I see people in the community say the events are boring, they're too difficult, or the unlocks are too silly and not aesthetically pleasing for this serious Call of Duty game. And this kind of thing does tend to happen because all of this had to be done before probably like December 15th, because from December 15th to about January 15th, everybody just kind of checks out, especially in the tech industry. That's where you take your vacation. That's where you take your weeks off. The devs are at home spending time with their family like I chose to do instead of grinding videos all holiday long. And we're not really going to be getting any new big updates, at least for a little while. Hacking has gotten pretty outrageous, I would say supposedly, because everybody kind of has a different experience here. I play mostly on PC, so it has the same amount of hackers that it usually does, which is quite high. I mostly run into soft hacks. I don't see a lot of aimbots or invincibility or people flying, but I do see a lot of people with wall hacks where they can see me through walls and just track me and know that I'm coming. It's really hard to beat those people. It's very frustrating. And I've noticed that almost all of my friends that play on console have been choosing to disable crossplay as much as possible because it minimizes cheaters. It doesn't get rid of them. There are still console cheaters out there, but it gets rid of a lot of them. So I think whatever Ricochet is supposed to be doing, it's absolutely not doing it right. And for those of you out there who are console gamers, I'd like to give a shout out to one of my sponsors and recommend the Logitech G A50 headsets, which is kind of a god tier headset for consoles. It allows you to play Switch, Xbox, PlayStation 5, and PC all at once from a little base station and a convenient switch that gets set up wherever you're gaming. You'll find a link to this product down there below, along with code Drifter, which will save you 5% off. Thank you again, Logitech G, for these headsets. And in case you don't like wired, you can always go with the old school pink A40s that you see me wearing in tons and tons of videos. They're still broadly compatible with everything. Links down there below. Let's get back to the main video. And then finally, the last reason for the decline, and a non-insignificant one, is that skill-based matchmaking and skill-based damage religious movements are in full swing. Everybody seems to be very upset about skill-based matchmaking still, even though it's a very old topic that's pretty well explored. And to mention Ace again, my god, this video is mostly updates on other creators. Ace recently discovered that you can export your skill ranking data because Activision has to comply with EU regulations, and you have to be able to see that for privacy reasons. So it kind of collects all the data about you. However, after his video where he showed people how to request their skill data, I don't know of a single person that actually got their data request after that video came out. So either the servers are completely spammed with hundreds of thousands or perhaps millions of people requesting their skill data and it just can't keep up, or maybe Activision just decided to kind of nip this one in the bud and shut that feature down. It would not surprise me if that feature comes back up with all of your private information except the skill information at some point in the near future. In another Ace story, I popped in on Twitter today. I don't really use what's left of Twitter or X very much. I'm a little bit more on Blue Sky these days, but I decided to open it. First tweet it shows me is unfortunately Exclusive Ace arguing with people about skill-based damage. And it was nearly identical to the conversations that I've had over the last decade, that somebody would show a clip and say it's proof, and Ace would be like, a clip is not proof, you have to test for this in a controlled environment, but you can't do it in a live environment because there's too many variables and science doesn't work this way, and this is difficult, more difficult. Easier said than done might be the right phrase to explain this. The community, of course, didn't care about any of those reasonable, rational, scientific explanations and just kind of laid into him for being a shill and covering for Activision, which I get quite a lot. God bless Ace, though. He handles it with more grace than I ever did in the past. But I think the true, genuine obsession over skill-based matchmaking is taking on a religious nature. I genuinely believe that hate content, hate watching, and belief in skill-based matchmaking and what's going to happen when Activision is finally exposed or whatever is a sort of religion. If you think about the people that purport it, they go out to proselytize, to convert you to their beliefs, primarily on comments and forums and social media and stuff. They crusade for the removal of skill-based matchmaking, to advocate for all sorts of products and methods to get rid of it. They have their own unique prophecies, such that when Activision is exposed, or when this happens, or when the community revolts, or when the creators get together, or whenever X thing happens that hurts Activision, then and only then will Call of Duty return to the golden promised land of, I don't know, 2014. Whenever it was good, whatever your favorite COD is, that's where it'll turn. And all the players will receive salvation and their lives will be better. There's all sorts of people arguing about the morality of two-boxing and cheating and avoiding skill-based matchmaking to the point where it feels like theological arguments. And because of all of that sentiment, Call of Duty hate channels are making bank right now, probably doing better than regular Call of Duty channels, but that's not really a style of content that I'm particularly interested in. I would say that I try to be positive and I try to make positive content here, and that's true most of the time, but some of the more spicy topics I've taken on recently are not particularly positive, but they are important in more ways to your life than, say, Call of Duty. I've mostly just been playing a lot more Marvel Rivals, very slowly. I've had a busy holiday. I've actually been to the gun range quite a few times, so some of those videos will come soon. But I've been playing a lot of Marvel Rivals. And in general, with my disabilities and weak hands, I can only play games when they first come out because the playing field is more even. A lot of people are new, just like me. We're going in with limited experience, but as the game continues on, people gain more experience than I can ever hope to because of disabilities and playtime limitations, so they kind of outclass me. And a lot of games have a grind element to them. You have to grind. I don't grind for anything. J-Hub helps me level my account and get weapon attachments and stuff like that. But Call of Duty has been very grind heavy for a number of years now, and Black Ops 6 has swapped over to full grind mode with new weapons, new unlocks, battle passes, events, all these things you're supposed to do, and I find myself more interested in experimental content as opposed to grinding Call of Duty down to the minutiae like I've done for the last 15 years. This past year, we've done content on science, tech, politics, philosophy, health, medical science. We've done opinion pieces, firearms content, manga reviews, movie reviews. Been filming more IRL stuff and less stuff in game as well. So instead of converting to a Call of Duty hate channel and making a new video about somebody being exposed or cheating or taking down Activision or this is the end or whatever any sort of clickbait thumbnail there would be, I'm just gonna go play more Marvel Rivals, and I'm gonna focus on filming some different stuff IRL. I'm going to play Call of Duty and post Call of Duty content exactly as much as I want to, which will be some. I still try to get my games in when I can, but probably not a lot for the time being. I just have other things to focus on. So the TLDR is, COD's got a lot of problems, the player base is dipping, a lot of people are mad. I'm not really sweating about it. Instead of joining the religious movement and crusading against Activision to bring morality back to online gaming or whatever the goal is, I'm just gonna go play other games. So guys, hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to like, favorite, and subscribe. Drifter out.